Hello everybody, just looking at these root over rock fusion projects that I've got going on at the moment, or at least the 5 that I've decided to concentrate on for this playlist of videos, along with the large beech root over rock fusion. So here we have the ash. It's grown quite well this season, but it's really getting a little bit too tall in terms of scale, and I do want to keep getting taper into the trunk as we go, rather than have diffusion at the base but one long straight thick trunk all of the same thickness. So let's move the camera down a little bit so you can see near the base. As you can see, this piece here is kind of serves some purpose in that it's helping the tree to squat down onto the rock a little more, but other than that it's getting a little bit too tall, so I'm going to cut that at least back to there. And this other piece, I'm really not sure that serves any purpose at all, but at the same time it's not hurting any, and is a possible option for something in the future. So I'm going to leave that one on. Similarly, this back branch here, assuming that this remains the front of my tree, which I think it will, because of it has the 3 roots that are actually kind of merging into one, but I have an eye pokey branch just here, which I'm going to remove entirely, and this branch here I'm going to shorten back to there. And I'm going to take the top back to this piece. I may even take it back further later in the season. I've got a few number of buds in this section. Yeah, there's quite a number of buds here, which I may take the tree back to. He who hesitates is lost, right? I'm going to take the tree back to here. I'm going to leave a bit of a stub, and we'll see which of these buds breaks. It's a little bit more, and then I can angle the cut better to suit. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this one. There's a low flat rock. Suits well this oval part, I feel. I move that out of the way. I have this self-seeded conifer variety, which, if it wasn't for the fact that I could see that the wires have cut into the bark, I would say it hadn't grown any at all, but it obviously is growing. I've no idea if it will fuse or not, but I think the roots will eventually grow to grip this rock, and it may be interesting at some point in the future. Next I have a couple of willows. They're doing well. I've managed to thread this branch through and underneath. That will become another root, and hopefully will fuse into this as it sits down into this section of rock. I'm going to remove these 2 branches because I just want to grow this piece, and that will thicken this up considerably. I don't really need this part thickened up. The other thing I don't like here is I have too many branches coming from one spot. So I'm going to remove this, which is quite strong, and this one, they're very close together, and this strong growing one, and just leave this weak thinner piece to grow away. I'm worried I'm going to get some reverse taper here otherwise. If I can maybe angle that as it grows to fill it in, it will be good. Okay, so here I'm not entirely happy with this. Let me see if I can turn it. I have a slight bulge here. Now I'm going to try and cut that back and lose that to try and get some taper into the tree. At some point in the future, once this part is frozen, this branch may be used as a branch, or it may be cut away. Again, that's going to aid with the fusion. And then finally at the top here, this branch is way out of line to be a continuation of the trunk, and too fat really to be a top branch. So again, I'm going to lose that, and I'm actually going to go with this piece as my new leader. Okay, I'm going to shorten this one back so it doesn't compete, and shorten that one back so it doesn't compete, and remove these pieces from the trunks that are to become roots if I can. That's it. Okay, so that's tidied up that quite nicely. So we'll move on to the next one, which is also another willow, but on a completely different shaped rock. Same deal here. This root, this bit of tree had died away, so I'm using another branch to slide underneath and hopefully become part of the trunk. And again, I have this problem where these side shoots here are taking all the energy that I want to fatten up in here. So I'm going to remove those entirely. And this one, I haven't decided on front or back of this tree yet. This piece of wire is just kind of holding that trunklet in place, which is that trunklet? Well, no, it's more of a rootlet, I would say. At the moment I'm inclined to think of this as my front. The rock is a slightly more interesting shape, and I have 3 roots visible, so that would make this an eye-poking branch, and again too vigorous for where it is placed on the tree at the moment. So I'm going to remove that entirely. Seem to have had a bit of not so much dieback as not doing anything back with that piece, so I'm going to remove that. And then I have a competing double header here, so I'm going to take that off there, and then I'm going to shorten this branch and this branch, shorten this piece, take this back to that as a new leader, and remove this branch entirely as well. Now, that might seem quite drastic, but trees will likely respond well to this pruning. I hope they will, and we'll see how they go later in the summer. Okay, and that brings us to tree number 5 here, which is a hawthorn, which has grown exceptionally well, all things considered. The trunks have got a fair way to go before they really clasp the rock. I think you'll agree, I pull back a little, that it has put on a fair amount of growth. Now, I want to keep the scale, so although the extra growth is good in terms of getting some thickness into these trunks at the base here, I also want to keep some of the scale that I had before. So I'm going to cut this tree back reasonably hard. It's very small but very spiky. I have a piece coming from a sucker, I believe. I'm going to leave that because I may wire that into the trunk at some point as another root, as it seems to have offered itself for just that purpose. And then these, I'm just going to cut it back almost at random. This will give it some ramification, and then come the autumn, when the tree loses its leaves and I'll be able to see the structure a bit more, I'll be able to decide which branches I really want to keep and which branches I don't. I have a little bit of powdery mildew on this, so it's good to cut that away. That I will have to get rid of and burn. I do find that hawthorns suffer a bit from that in my garden. I'm not entirely sure where it comes from, but it keeps coming back. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for these 5 trees for today. We will see where that leaves them come autumn, and again, thank you for watching and take care of yourselves.